Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Invictus Racing League IRL F1 League. My name is Gareth, and as always, it's Monday night, which means I'm joined by my good friend Sab. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, thank you. We are here tonight at Monza, the Italian Grand Prix. Not many races around there, is there, in the F1 calendar, what is iconic as this circuit. Maybe the Belgian Grand Prix, Spa-Silverstone, the Brazilian Grand Prix, but yeah, Monza, the home of speed. Everything's all about getting that toe and seeing what you can possibly do in that long run down to the first corner as well. It should be an absolutely frenetic and amazing race tonight. Hopefully, I haven't put the jinx on it this early.
Yeah, it is one of the iconic circuits in world motorsport, in the shadow of the Italian Alps, just north of Milan in Italy, and in the centre of Monza Park. It is a fantastic circuit. If you do get a chance to visit it, I do encourage you to do so, because it is just an incredible atmosphere, along with what is a fantastic circuit. Of course, a very, very old circuit, one of the oldest on the F1 calendar, and Italy, along with Britain, one of the only countries to hold an F1 race in every year since F1's inception in 1950. Held it every year since, or apart from 1980, where it went to Imola. But yep, Monza has been the home of Formula One, and of course the passionate tifosi that will be cheering on the Ferraris. It's 10-turn circuit. However, it's sixth longest on the calendar, so it's quite a long circuit. However, it is a very fast one. I expect to see the cars running around about 221 miles an hour into the braking zone for the Rettifidio. That tops out around about 354 kilometers an hour. And of course, DRS around here, huge advantage. Detection on the exit of the second Lesmo for the run down towards Ascari, and of course before the final corner, the Parabolica, the iconic turn 11 bend, which meets up with the old circuit, which used to, of course, come straight off the back of the old oval banking circuit. And if you get a chance to, as I said, to go to Vonza, check out the oval banking, because it is an absolutely stunning part of the circuit. It's the lowest downforce we'll see on the calendar. Full throttle, 75% of the lap. It's going to be the highest percent of full throttle, and equally the highest percent of well, essentially of being on the limit of the entire calendar. Like I said, you're pretty much hardly braking for. It's only really down into turn 1 and into the second chicane at turn 4, Variante della Roggia, that you're really putting a lot of effort into that brake pedal. And we've got a lovely sunny day above the skies here in Monza, because Sab, you never quite know with weather in Monza, do you?
No, you definitely don't. And as we've seen in last night's Xbox League, the rain and the heavens certainly opened last night. So who knows? You could find yourselves having a nice, dry, sunny qualifying, and suddenly the heavens open during the race, and that really then tests the strategies of everybody here. Then what would you do? Would you go for a more of a downforcey setup and sacrifice your qualifying, or would you go for it in qualifying and try and survive the rain around here? But yeah, the cars are starting to filter out now, and last week in qualifying we had somewhat of a surprise, didn't we, getting on pole. It was a superb lap in the end, and unfortunately I didn't get to see it live, but Cliffy, surprising us all really. We thought Harry was going to take the pole position, but he went out there at the very last moment on a set of softs and absolutely smashed it and took pole position. Unfortunately for Cliffy, race didn't quite pan out for him, so tonight he'll probably be hoping to try and rectify that, get himself right up there at the very front and maybe score good points this time around. But tonight I imagine a lot of the teams will be utilising the ability to tow around this circuit.
Yeah, as shown on screen right now by the Williams pair, and the two have been practicing very hard over the last few nights or so, getting this toe down to perfection. So Harry and Scott will be hoping to get that one in full force. Of course, it's a huge advantage if you can work with your teammate around here to get that extra speed, straight line speed down the main straight and down towards the Parabolica as well. So yeah, a lot of drivers tonight will be working together. Harry will be coming around to start the first flying lap this evening in the Williams. The man currently sitting second in the championship to CRG Gamer 62. who's currently in the pit lane, watching what his title rival is doing out on track. But you see, off goes Harry. DRS is open. In fact, out comes the second Renault, and that looks like CRG Gamer on to the pit straight. So, or that may be jumper line. Sorry, as Harry exits the Retifilio, turn 1 and turn 2 onto Curva Grande, a long sweeping right hand bend that leads you down towards turn 4 and turn 5, one of the danger zones here on the Monza circuit. Watch out for the inside curb, and equally watch out for the bump on the exit of the second. It can kick you off into the gravel, and is into the first of the 2 Lesmos, and Harry takes that quick right jaunt, runs slightly over onto the AstroTurf on the exit curb, and off out of Lesmo 2. DRS wide open as we do the short blast underneath the old banking as it flashes overhead and into Ascari. Used to be a flat out left hand bend, now it's a elongated chicane, and Harry taking it relatively quietly to start off with. Expect to see them bouncing over the exit and intros to the curves a little bit later on in the session into the Parabolica for the first time in a qualifying lap for anyone on track today. So Harry's going to come across the line. It's going to be a banker lap on the soft rubber straightaway. It's a 1:19.2, so a lot of work to be found for Harry, because we're expecting to be qualifying pole position time to be well into the 18s.
Just right on board with John Pelaine, and John Pelaine jumps up with a 1:19.7. He got a lovely toe off his teammate Gamer, and now Gamer down the start finish straight gets the return back, and Gamer into turn 1 now starts his first flying lap. Got both working very well there, just out of Ascari. Gamer pulling along John Pelaine and lovely down towards the Parabolica, but fortunately for John Pelaine, it wasn't quick enough as FPL Charlie. That is a good lap to say, really. He's not got a teammate tonight to help him with that toe, so you'd imagine he's probably going to find it a bit tougher down these straights, but that is a good banker lap for Charlie there. He's just gone a little bit, not by much, and a little bit quicker than Harry there.
As the 2 Haas drivers working together, as Fountain gives him his teammate Sam a toe, peels off to the runoff area of the Parabolica, so he's given him a nice toe down the back straight. In fact, Fountain went too deep into the Parabolica, straight into the wall it seems, so the slightly embarrassing for the Belgian. However, he has propelled his teammate up onto a provisional front row of the grid, just under 0.03 of a second slower, and Charlie, and 0.04 of a second slower, faster. Sorry, I'm getting all mixed up this evening than Harry, who's in 3rd position, as Jumper Line goes up into 4th TL, 4S, as Gamer, there you go, he's the first one into the 18s. It's an 18.661 for the Renault driver, so that is pretty much the benchmark for everyone else to follow, because we've now got a yellow in sector 1, sector 2. It looks as though White Fountain's Haas has been recovered from the exit, or was really the entry. He didn't even attempt the corner at the Parabolica, but yeah, it looks as though we've got Foxy Red on the medium rubber, who's going to attempt the lap, and Foxy, of course, has had a couple of decent results so far this season, not quite up to the standard that he was perhaps hoping for to start this season. Only a podium in Spain. Apart from that, it's been a bit of a hit and miss season. Had very good qualifying sessions, not great race sessions. Welcome to everyone joining us tonight. Hopefully you enjoy the stream. Make sure you're not subscribed already to press the subscribe button and like if you're enjoying. And Sab, plenty more action out on track. We've got 15 drivers tonight. Who's your bet for pole position?
Well, that's a good question. At this moment, with the way Gamer looks to be setting the benchmark really early on, you would have to surely put your money on Gamer at the moment. Harry got some work to do, hasn't he? Because with that 18.6 from Gamer and Harry's opening lap and 19.2, there's a lot of time to be made up there, so the pressure really will be on Harry if Harry's to keep with Gamer and try and mount this charge to catch him back up, because he did the right thing last week, didn't he, by clawing some points back on Gamer, but he can't afford to let that slip again, can he, tonight, and allow Gamer to build that gap up again. So the moment it's looking good for Gamer, and to be honest, the way he's looked so far this evening, you couldn't really go against him, but with 11 minutes still left on the clock, I'm sure these guys will be going much quicker in the next few minutes or so.
Yep, the track will rubber in, it will become a little bit less green, there'll be more grip out on the the black stuff, and I'm sure we'll see the times tumble. And Scott's out, ready to set a bank lap. He, of course, was out earlier, didn't manage to set a time, so he's only got just under 11 minutes to do so. Put that first time down on the soft rubber. It looks as though he's going to get a helping hand down towards Ascari from his teammate who's on his outlap. So Harry's backed up, he's got the DRS open, and he's going to give his teammate a big old toe down towards Ascari. Wait to see the Williams peel to the inside, and he does to perfection. Releases Scott into Ascari. Can he ride the curbs nicely? He does indeed, and that's going to propel him up the back straight towards the Parabolica throughout the final part of the third sector. And Scott, without a time, what can he do? And Fountain just saying that it was slightly embarrassing. He wasn't expecting to be caught out by the lack of grip, but what can Scott do as he comes across the line? It's up into the front row. It's 19-1, so way off of Gamer, but on the front row of the grid provisionally.
It just shows you how mighty that lap was from Gamer, because I was riding on board with Scott there, and it looked a decent lap, and obviously it was a decent lap with him jumping up onto second place at the moment. But it just shows you, doesn't it? Gamer's got a hefty wedge right now, and he's back out there on another outlap again. I imagine he will be at some point getting a helping hand again from his Renault teammate. But interestingly, his Renault teammate John Polano, who's set his first lap on a set of softs with a 19.7, is now on a lap on a set of mediums, which is quite interesting. So I can't imagine him to be going any quicker, but maybe he can prove me wrong.
And here's the role reversal for the Williams team. Scott slightly up the road. It looks as though Harry has invalidated that lap though, so it's not going to happen this time around for the Williams team. They're going to have to reset and go again. So we'll go on board. We'll find out what else is happening on track. We've got FPL Charlie, and we've got Sam Pepito, who are currently locking up the second row and third and fourth that have just started a flying lap. It's 46 gear changes over the lap distance here. That makes 1219 over a 50% race, give or take a couple here and there. And as I said, it's a 3.6 mile long circuit, 380 metre run down to turn 1 from the P1 position. And Sab, we know it's a track where overtaking is pretty prevalent and relatively easy. So do we see essentially a game of who can break that toe? Because if you get caught in the DRS, this could go on forever, and it might even lead to the point where we might see the driver, whoever's in the toe, stay there until the final lap of the race and then make that move.
Exactly, yeah. You couldn't have two vastly different races, really. Hungary last week, where it was really difficult, despite having the DRS, really difficult to just get that move done. And then this week, you've just got the complete opposite. FPL Charlie goes quicker than his previous time with a 19 flat, jumps up to second place ahead of Scott. But yeah, tonight, you could find yourselves thinking there's no point jumping now, wait to get that toe and get that DRS and then make your move at the very last moment, and who knows, you could have a fight to the finish line tonight. It's going to be really tricky for everybody here. As Sam Pepito, that is a decent lap from him there, but CRG Gamer, well, what about that? Hey, 1:18.5, so he's going even quicker. Sam Pepito, who'd gone about 3/10 within Gamer. Gamer suddenly reacts quite quickly, and yeah, he's really starting to drive that wedge even bigger now from the chasing pack.
Yeah, over a 4/10 of a second gap as TL44S invalidates on the entry to Ascari. So the Mercedes, who's currently in 7th position, backs out of that lap. It looks as though we've got a lot of drivers that are on their in laps now, so we'll just check in with Cliffy, in fact, and Cliffy invalidated. So we'll check in with Ice-T in 14th position. You get to set a time. The second of the Mercedes, of course, TL44S, who had a good race in Hungary last week until he fell back on penalties at the end. And Ice-T looks as though he's gone purple in Sector 1, and if that is the case, that's a nice little time there for the Mercedes. That will get your heartbeat racing, ready to go, set you off for the second sector. And around the second Lesmos, it's just all about being as neat and tidy as possible. DRS is opened for the Dutchman as he heads down towards Ascari, and it's all about here, the braking zone and the left-hand turn. Green flags waving on the side because we've got a little bit of a yellow flag further up the road. It looks like one of the Williams going slowly. Can Ice-T keep it Oh, he doesn't. He goes too wide, and that invalidates his lap. So just takes the final part of Ascari just a little bit too deep, and unfortunately the stewards have slapped him and said, nah, you're not having that one. You would have kept up your speed and utilised too much of the runoff area, and unfortunately that's another time wiped off the board for him. So we'll see where else have we got, and we've got Scott out on track, and he's currently in 4th position. His teammate Harry is way down behind Gamer. He needs to be up with the young Brit in the 1st position. So Harry, he ideally needs to be getting himself onto the front 2 rows of the grid. His last few races, he's only the lowest he's qualified this season is 5th, in fact, and that was 3 races ago. So yeah, he's currently equaling his worst qualifying record. Gamer, of course, he yet to take a pole position since the 3rd race of the season. So, yeah, Gamer, it's been a while since he visited pole, visited pole, and that was in Belgium, of course. So, yeah, it's still all to play for, of course, but it's a pretty healthy gap between himself and Sam.
It really is at the moment, and Sam will be thinking he's done a mighty lap, and how can he go even any quicker than what he has done? Scott, I'm currently keeping an eye on. You mentioned him just. He got a lovely toe off his teammate. He was fractionally down on his fastest time, so it's all about the exit out of final corner here. What can he do? He does go quicker. It's a 1:19.044, just slightly ahead of FPL Charlie, but what this should do now is you'd imagine this will allow Scott to give the payback now for Harry to have a nice toe. So these Williams guys are at the moment getting that toe done really well, but at the moment it's just not quite working out for him, is it? That front row is just out of reach at the moment.
And we'll see if the Alfa Romeos, due to electric scope, almost loses back out the exit. The second Lesbo. Is Foxy going to back up? Because it looked like Foxy was going slow, but it looks as though he's a little bit further up the road. So we'll see if he does back up on the exit of Ascari and give Scopefield a run up towards the back straight. And there you go, he does. So you can see the red light flashing in the back, and that's harvesting energy, which means that he's pretty much off of the pace. He's going to give Scopefield a nice bit of slipstream up towards the Parabolica. And the Swede, who of course is a multi-time champion here in IRL, can he get himself up further than 9th position, get himself back up? We've had some good qualifying results recently. Scopefield up into the top 6. It's a 19.324, so about half a tenth slower than Harry, so not bad from Scope.
No, not bad at all. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you how Harry's doing right now because the timing screens is telling me he's on an out lap when he clearly isn't on a lap. But so here comes Harry. Harry, there you go. That is more like it from Harry and what he's done so far this season. An 18.797 again. He got a lovely toe from Scott in the second sector, and in the end it proved really worth it because he's now just around 2/10 off CGR Gamer with 3 minutes to go. CRG Gamer will be looking, thinking, can I go even quicker and really upset this fight to catch me?
Yep, just under 3 minutes to go in the qualifying session, so enough time for these guys to run in and do one more lap if they're quick. So you can see Gamer, he's currently in the box, but he knows he's got that 0.2 of a second gap between himself and his title rival Harry. But Harry doing what was needed and getting himself up onto the front row of the grid, although San Pito, I'm sure Scott and Charlie will be trying to usurp him and get themselves into prime position down towards turn 1. Of course, turn 1 here, we do often see a little bit of here and there between some of the cars. It's very easy as the Toro Rosso trying to gain as much slipstream as possible, as Andrew Lockdock coming up towards Ascari, trying to get those extra tenths on the back of a slow Williams that was coming up. So can Adri keep it on the track? He can. Oh, I say that, and that's a curse and a half as he loses the car, gets a huge snap of oversteer on the exit of Ascari and plants it into the Armco barrier, and that is a lap scratched off for the Spaniard. And once he rolls around, I imagine that's into the pit lane, and it will be a qualifying session without a time for him as he hits the inside wall coming into the pit lane. So yeah, compounding his qualifying, not particularly great, as TL44S is on a lap. Jumperlinen and the two, you can see on the track map and on the screen, the two Renaults working together. So Gamer giving Jumperlinen that toe down towards Parabolica. Can Jumperlinen get himself up involved? Because Gamer will be wanting him as ML Eltink goes quick. He goes second. Good lap there from the Racing Point. That was under pressure. Jumperlinen can only go 7th, but Eltink once again pulling a lap right at the death.
Yeah, I was right on board with him, and it was interesting because Ice-T was also on a lap, but he was inadvertently giving Eltink a nice tow around this circuit. Eltink was managing to keep on the back of the Mercedes, and in the end, he got a lovely tow down both straights here, and it propelled him up to second place. He was under pressure to get that done, and he has got it done, and currently, provisionally, sits on the front row.
Yeah. Great lap there from the Racing Point. Once again, the man that's done so well in qualifying, yet to really hook it up. Only one podium so far this season. CRG Gamer is on another flying lap. Can he improve on his current provisional pole time? He's currently on a 1:18.528. He's currently going 0.02 of a second faster. It's not much, but can he get under that that's 18.5 mark and just put a statement and a staple on this pole position as he goes deep into Ascari and invalidates that lap. So we've got a couple of drivers out on track that will be looking at taking perhaps Eltink or Harry off of the front row and the second row of the grid. Sam Pito coming up to the final corner of Parabolica, pink helmet in the black and gold hat. Can the Spaniard come across the line and improve on his time? He's currently at 1:18.961. Sam comes across the line. It's not an improvement. It's 0.2 of a second slower, and it looks as though he will be starting in 4th as Ice-T retires. Scott is in 6th. Jump line and won't be going any faster. Charlie's going 0.2 of a second slower coming up to the Parabolica, so he's going to need an absolute mighty exit out this final corner if he is to improve on 8th position. And Charlie has just quickly checking over my notes, because I think Charlie, much like Sam, has been making 8th his own at the moment as he does come across the line, stays in 8th position. We've got TL44S who is currently coming across the line. Can Mercedes improve? No, he's into the box. So we've got the final runner, I believe it is Uzbek, who has unfortunately not been able to improve. Cliffy comes across the line up into 3rd position.
Wow.
Right at the death once again. And the second Racing Point goes up into 3rd. He's really becoming a driver that can pull it out just when he needs it.
Yeah, definitely. He's reminding me in many ways of what White Fountain was doing a few seasons back here in on the Monday nights. You'd often see White Fountain leaving it to the very last second, and you'd find his name jumping right up the order. And Cliffy once again makes it a 2nd and 3rd place for the Racing Point. So that'll be a disaster for Harry. Harry in 4th place will be wanting to try and keep as close as he can to Game, and now finds himself having 2 pink Racing Points ahead of him. So a lot of work there to be done for Harry if he's going to try and keep hold of Gamer in the early stages of this race.
Yeah, a lot can be made up, but a lot can be lost on the way down to the Retifidio, especially on lap 1. But there is your pole man. It's CRG Gamer 62 with a 1:18.528, who takes pole position ahead of the Racing Point of MNT Eltink, who was just under a 1/10.5 slower. Cliffy with a late move goes up into 3rd position, and Harry BR25, the man currently 2nd in the championship, in 4th. Samuel Pepito finally doesn't qualify in 7th position. That breaks a streak of 4 races. Ice-T, good lap from him in 6th position. Scott is in 7th. Jump line in 8th. Charlie and Scopefielder round out the top 10. And then TL44S, Foxy and Beck were outside of the top 10. And White Fountain and Andrew Lockdock did not set a time. This evening, of course, we will be running the 3 compounds of tyres: the hards, the mediums and the softs. The white walled hards, the yellow walled mediums and the red walled softs. The hards are the C2 long lasting tyres, will easily do about 20 laps around here from fresh. Mediums, they are from pit window on them on worn mediums around about lap 12 to lap 16, fresh mediums around about lap 15 to lap 18. They are the C3s, and the softs are the C4s. Pit window for used softs are these guys that started inside the top 10. Everyone, of course, ran on the soft rubber. Pit window for the guys that started on these softs will probably be between anywhere from lap 7 to lap 12, depending on how brave or how worried they are about the state of their rubber. Of course, you don't want to lose the back end on the exit of Ascari. Fresh softs, we'll see if anyone elects for them when we get to the grid, and they'll probably go to lap 11 to lap 14. Expect to see a one-stop race, the soft to medium strategy. You might see someone stretch it out for a hard to soft strategy, but yeah, it is probably going to be 27 laps of absolute, as you said earlier, frenetic racing and plenty of action, Sam.
Yeah, definitely is. Now Gamer takes the field round for their formation lap. I'm just having a look through the details like I always do, and just to have a look at outside the top 10, and quite a few going for the fresh softs, Foxy Red, Beck and Adrian Lockdog, but White Fountain looking to go really long in this race. He was just saying about 20 laps on those hard tyres, and he has chosen to go on those hard tyres with TL44S on the medium tyres starting in 11th. So if TL44S can get a good start on these used soft runs in the top 10, then he could prove later on to be a bit of a pain on those relatively newer tyres, but longer lasting tyres, I should say. So those medium tyres, would be interesting to see what he can do early on, as Gamer's not really hanging about here. He's already coming up to Ascari now, and he's dragging along the racing points as well. It's a relatively short lap, yeah, but at the moment, just looking at Gamer, it looks like he's not hanging about at all.
No, he's definitely getting a shift on. He doesn't want to let anyone hold him up in this bid to win his 5th race this season. Of course, the record for wins in one season stands with the Hercules, who took 6 out of 12 last season. So Gamer currently 4 in 7 for the Renault drivers, so he'll be looking at improving on that record. 12 podiums so far for Harry is an IRL F1 record, and in fact it's a 20th consecutive race start in IRL F1 for FPL Charlie, White Fountain, Harry, Foxy Red and Jumper Linen. So all starting their 20th races here in the revamped IRL F1 League, and we're all filing into position in front of the passionate Tifosi, who unfortunately aren't being able to see any Ferrari drivers this evening. So I'm sure they'll all be cheering on the Alfa Romeos, the Scopefielder and Foxy Red 2000, who line up in 10th and 12th respectively. Yeah, as I said, watch out for turn 1, especially for these guys diving from 3rd, 4th, 5th, as they get a big old slipstream down towards the Retifidio for the first time, as we see everyone filing into position. And there's the final position. It's Andrew Lockdock, and the engine notes rising here as we get ready to start round 8 of the IRL F1 League here in Monza, the Temple of Speed. We have 4, 5 red lights. Pause, out and underway. It's a little bit of wheel spin off the line there for CRG Gamer. Is that going to allow LT alongside? He does get a good launch, and he's already passed the Renault down to turn 1. Will we see any movers and shakers from behind? You can see Harry battling with the second racing point of Cliffy and moves up into 3rd position. They're still side by side on exit, but Harry gets past the second racing point up into 3rd position, exactly what he needed. And now title rival directly in front of him behind Samuel Pepito, closing in on Cliffy. We're going side by side between the two in towards De La Rocha for the first time, and it looks as though just up ahead Gamer closing back in on Elting. But great there, great start from the first racing point.
Yeah, and it was not so great a start for Cliffy. I was riding on board with Harry, and Cliffy just got a little bit of wheel spin, and it allowed Harry just to see that door open and get the move done into turn 1, as we got a yellow flag in sector 2. White Fountain had an issue somewhere, and he's already running slowly at the back, so disaster there for White Fountain. But yeah, exactly what Harry needed. He needed Elting to get the job done on Gamer, and then as Elting has run wide. Elting has run wide, and he's allowed Gamer back in, and now Gamer is retaking the lead. Elting must have had a big issue coming out of Ascari, and that's allowed Harry now to get right onto the back of the racing point.
Of course, Elting was struggling in qualifying, validated a couple of laps, and this is going to give Harry an opportunity of getting past him. He needs to clear the racing point and get onto the back of Gamer. He can't let the Renault disappear up the road, but here comes Harry to the inside. He's going to have the inside line on the racing point. Will the racing point defend? Harry braking late. There's contact between the two, but it's just about on the edge. As Elting comes across, snaps his way across in front of the Williams. We were 3 wide behind between the Williams and the Williams. What is it? Ice-T, and there's still 3 wide. This is going to be dangerous. And here we go. Scott, Charlie, and Ice-T all going through. We've got absolute chaos and frenetic racing behind, with everyone fighting over position. Harry and Eltic still battling over second and third. Harry trying to go around the outside into the first Lesmo. Is he going to get the space from the racing point into the second Lesmo? Is he still there? Great move around the outside from Harry. Almost loses the car on exit, but Harry needing to get that job done because already CRG Gamer 2.2 seconds up the road.
Yeah, it's a superb battle. You talk about that 3 wide. It's a superb battle between Ice-T, Charlie, and Scott. Unfortunately, Scott just had to relinquish that position to Charlie. And we've got a good battle as well between the Alfa Romeo boys as well in 10th and 11th place. Foxy Red managing to get the jump on Scopefield at the moment for 10th place, but yeah, they're all within a second of each other. So when this DRS comes out eventually, you can imagine there's going to be some more gains happening, because at the moment you can see 6, 7, 8, 9 cars down the start finish straight already.
The top 14 are split by 8 seconds as we start lap 3. That's how close it is behind. You can see Jumper Line and trying to go to the inside of Scott for 8th position, not able to get the move done. Eltink has got a good run on Williams of Harry BR25, and it's allowing Gamer to stretch his legs up front. And of course, as I said, you want to stay within the toe, and allowing Gamer to run away is going to really play into the Renault driver's hands. Behind, you can see a little bit of dust being kicked up, and the driver's running a little bit deep on the exit of the Variante della Roggia at turn 4 and turn 5. But we're still on board with Eltink as we look at the back of that Williams in front, who's harvesting energy on the exit of the second Lesmo, sorry. So Harry already looking after battery.
Oh, TL44S has just dipped a tyre into the gravel. He nearly lost it, and that Scopefield just couldn't react quickly enough, and Scopefield ran into the back of the Mercedes, took significant front wing damage, and he's going to have to surely come in now, as we've lost Adri Lockdock at this Scari. Is that going to bring out a safety car? Adri Lockdock getting all out of shape coming out of Scari. We've got a virtual safety car, the Toro Rosso, just facing sideways across the track at the moment, and unfortunately that is an early bath for Adri Lockdock.
And that is another DNF to add to Adri's woeful season. He was talking to him as Scope picks up 5 seconds speeding in the pit lane, and that's one thing I didn't bring up as danger points. The pit lane entry here just comes off straight off the straight, But yeah, you have to watch out for your entry speed, because it's very easy to run into it, even just a mile an hour over, and unfortunately you get slapped with that 5-second penalty. So Scopefield drops down to 14th position. We've still got this battle that's going to be building up towards the front. As soon as we go green again, you can see Eltink looking at the back end of Harry. We're still waiting to go green, but there we go, DRS is enabled once again, and we're back to racing speed, and Eltink didn't want to let the Williams get too far up the road under VSC. He's going to have a decent run on him down towards Ascari. And you can see he's got a lot of battery left over, not using any so far, and saving under that VSC, I would imagine. And he's got a decent toe behind the Williams. But once again, these guys, you probably want to be working together to close down on Gamer, almost playing a little bit of leapfrog to close in on the Renault, because otherwise you can see it's a 1.9 second gap. This field that is going to be very, very closely knit together under the slipstream, well, essentially under the slipstream train, as it's always built as. But they're going to slowly watch their rival disappear off into the distance.
Definitely, yeah, and like you say, leapfrog is probably the best way, and Gamer will be breathing a sigh of relief that that virtual safety car wasn't a full safety car, because it'd have brought Harry and Elting back into the clutches of him, and he would have really had to get his defending boots on them. But VSC, all it was, and it's allowed Gamer to keep that nice gap at the moment, just further back, John Polainen has managed to get ahead of Scott as well. Scott's trying to get to place back, but unfortunately Scott now falling back somewhat, and John Polainen now up into 8th place.
As Eltink sends it down the inside of Harry into the first Lesmo. That was brave from the Dutchman, and he gets the move done, so really caught Harry unaware there, and he's already half a second up the road, and with Cliffy not far behind. Let's get off that camera view, thank you. And there we go, Cliffy with a good run on the Williams, so that's not what Harry was hoping for at all. He was hoping to get ahead of the Racing Point. Now he's sandwiched between the pair of them, and you can see the battle behind is still going on between Sam Pepito, Ice-T and FPL Charlie. The top 7 have got a slight bit of a getaway. Charlie peeking to the inside, into looking into Parabolica, hoping that someone makes a mistake a bit further up. Oh, Eltink goes majorly wide on the exit of the Parabolica, and that's going to put him under threat once again with Harry, who's got DRS. I said we were going to get a lot of overtakes this evening, and we're gonna, because here comes Harry back down the inside. You can see the Mercedes equally as can Harry get car slowed down. You can see the disc brakes glowing orange on the Williams there as he gets the car moved up back into 2nd position. But with these guys squabbling for 2nd position, it's just going to let the race leader move further and further away.
Definitely. I'm keeping an eye on the battle for 8th place between John Polainen, Scott and Foxy. John Polainen, I didn't think he was going to break into the first corner, but he got the car just about stopped, and he had to defend as hard as possible to keep that to Williams behind. Scott not giving up on 8th place at the moment, but this is also allowing Foxy Red to keep an eye on this battle and just have a look and keep an eye on, make sure that any opportunity to take here. But at the moment it's a really good battle for 8th as we've got a yellow flag in sector 2.
It's White Fountain by the looks of it. It looks like a Haas. We've lost it on the exit of the Variante della Roggia, and he's still in the gravel trap. Ooh. There. Might be getting underway. We're still yellow, so hopefully we won't see. There we go. The Belgian getting back underway. Back under green. We'll go and check in with Eltink, who's dropped behind Cliffy. In fact, the 2 Racing Points swap position, but of course they're going to, this time, as Harry does the fastest lap, so that's what he needs to do. He needs to start breaking this toe, and he has got a 1.1 second ahead of Cliffy as the 2 Racing Points were battling. Will they battle each other? Is there team orders? Of course, the pair are a new team this season, so it's going to be finding... Oh, as Eltink dips a tyre in the grass, almost loses control of the car, and that's going to open the door for Sam, who's going to try and sweep round the outside of the Curva Grande. He's going to have the inside line for Della Roggia, and that's a fantastic move there from the Spaniard. Great bit of ingenuity just to see the mistake happen, sent it around the outside and had the grip to hold on to the line, and Eltink falling down the order, now down to 5th.
Sam, I don't know about you, but I think Sam has had a relatively decent season. He's been very consistent throughout that season. He's drove well, and I think if the competition of the drivers, Gamer and Harry, weren't so high, I think you would have probably seen Sam get more podiums and maybe even a race win this season. Sam has been very competitive and drove superbly in quite a few races, and that just shows you then what he has been like this season. And FPL Charlie, just further back, finally has got the move done on Ice-T there. FPL Charlie has been stuck under the wing of the Mercedes for a few laps now, so he'll be delighted to see that. So next on his radar, if possible, is Eltink, and to be honest, I did not expect to see Eltink, after battling with Harry for so long, down in 5th place.
No, and Scott picks up 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so that's the 2nd driver this evening to be slapped with that penalty. Charlie, in fact, picked up a 3-second penalty on the entry to Ascari before getting the move done from Ice-T, who went deep on the exit right onto the runoff area. Sam Pepito once again has got a good run on now the leading Racing Point in Cliffy 7765. So Sam looking at making a return to the podium for the first time in quite a while. It's not since we saw Sam on the podium in Germany, as it looks as though Charlie and Ice-T have come together.
No, Charlie dipped a tyre in the gravel, nearly spun it, and it allowed Ice-T to get the position back, and that'll be incredibly frustrating for Charlie, who was almost onto the back of Eltink. Eltink made a mistake into turn 1, went very deep, and Charlie had gone from looking at potentially 5th, now looking at 6th again, and being stuck behind that Mercedes. He did well to hold on to it, Charlie, but unfortunately now has lost a few places as Eltink has run very wide again out of the Ascari, and that is allowing Ice-T now. Can Ice-T get a move down to parallel? This will be brave, you'd imagine. You just play it sensible here, as Eltink is being very cautious here, coming out of the final corner now, and surely Ice-T is going to have a huge toe on Eltink, as Eltink pits. Eltink pits, and that's allowed Ice-T a nice toe there down the start-finish straight and promotes him up to 5th place.
Jumper line is going to get a move done around Charlie. He's going to have to take the outside line into the rest of video, and he gets the car just about slowed down, locks up all 4 brakes, and he's going bouncing across the curbs, and he'll be feeling that one through his spine, and now loses not only 1 position but loses the 2nd one, as Foxy Red now sits on the gearbox of the McLaren. Can now the Alfa Romeo look at getting a move done? He's going to look at the inside into De La Rocha, and Charlie, he's just about held the line, but Foxy Red now starting to hassle the back of these guys. But yeah, Jumper line just a little bit too deep into the corner. Before that, MNT, God, so many letters. Eltink got it all wrong on the exit of Ascari, ran across the gravel, and you can see that's why he came into the pit lane earlier. The tyres obviously starting to go off. The pit window is open for these guys on the soft rubber, so expect to see them coming in the next few laps. Gamer has now dropped Harry by 3.1 seconds, so Gamer's starting to really stretch that lead out. Harry weaving side to side, trying to break the toe where he can. We saw that happen in Italy in F2 and F3 last season, so yeah, it's a tactic that is used, just weaving side to side, as long as there's not a car alongside you. As Harry picks up 5 seconds, and that's a 3rd driver so far this evening that's picked up the penalty, and I think already we can say that may be curtains for Harry's chances.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I just wanted to point out as well as Cliffy has run wide and deep into turn 1 there, and that has allowed Sam to get through cleanly, and this is now going to allow Ice-T to have a go here. Can Ice-T get moved on Cliffy under severe pressure? Cliffy's trying to force Ice-T as wide as possible. Now, Ice-T will have the inside line, and Ice-T now is up into 3rd place, but I was just about to get on to Ice-T, and Ice-T also had a trip up over the first corner of the previous lap, and he got a 5-second penalty for corner cutting. So Ice-T, even though he's going very well so far tonight, has also got a 5-second penalty hanging over his head right now.
Yep, plenty of action going on. We've now got Scopefielder looking at getting past Beck for 12th position. Scott cleared him just a minute ago. Will we see the Alfa Romeo driver, who of course had that mistake, as Foxy picks up 3 seconds. He's currently in 5th position on track. Beck goes deep into the 2nd part of the De La Rocha chicane, and that's allowed Scopefielder up the inside and promotes him into 12th position. Ahead, we've still got the battle going on between Cliffy and Ice-T after Cliffy made the mistake on the exit of turn 1 and the entry into turn 2. Went deep, got onto the marbles, onto the gravel, and into the pit lane comes the race leader, comes the OG Gamer, which promotes Sam, who's yet to stop, up into the lead. Into the box also comes Ice-T, Cliffy and Foxy off of those softs.
Yeah, and we've got TL44S as well now. He started on those medium tyres. He's now up into 2nd place. CRG Gamer will comfortably come out ahead of everybody. He was already ahead, and Harry now promoted up behind him. So Harry, that undercut somewhat worked, because Harry can see CRG Gamer, but like you say, that 5-second penalty is really going to hurt him now. And CRG Gamer, all he knows now is to drive a clean race, and barring any mishaps, you'd imagine even this early stage, CRG Gamer looks a strong favourite.
Yeah, he does indeed, and he's currently your net leader. TL44S and San Repito yet to stop. Foxy Red and Jumper Line going side by side down in towards the 2nd chicane. Who's going to come out on top? They go too wide into the corner, too wide on the exit of the corner. Great racing between the pair. We now come into the first listener. Scott picks up another time penalty, so Scott racking up the extracurricular penalties this evening as Foxy Red holds on to 7th position. Jumper Line, however, is not giving up, and equally Cliffy is now on the back of these two, so we're going to make it a 3-way battle as Jumper Line is going to try and look going around the outside into Ascari. What a move! He's just so brave to hope that the driver alongside you backs out before you do. Jumper Line, and getting the move done, gets up into 7th position, the man who won the race here in the wet last season.
Sam Pito has finally pitted. He's had enough of those soft tyres onto a set of mediums. Where is this going to put Sam? Can Sam come back out ahead of Eltink? No. Eltink has come out ahead of him. So that extra lap, I think, might have just cost Sam, because Sam did get the move done on Eltink. But unfortunately now, Sam finds himself a good 2.2 seconds behind Eltink. So maybe stayed out for one too many laps there on those soft tyres.
Yeah, and the tyres really do start to hurt you if you run them a little bit too hard. Of course, these guys all running different pressures. Of course, everyone here this evening running no assists. That's one of the caveats of running in IRL F1. So everyone on no assists this evening, so no traction control and no ABS especially. So everyone having to take care of their braking points and and also, of course, trying to make sure they're not spinning those rears up on the exit of any of these corners, and which will turn you around, which of course we saw earlier on with Fountain getting it all wrong at the start of the race. We've got TL44S, who's now being caught by the man who's already the net race leader. He's now 2 seconds behind the Mercedes, Harry, 3.4, so he's maintained the gap. And then behind, we've still got a battle going on between Foxy Red, Cliffy, Ice-T, Scott, who's now closing in on the Mercedes as Gamer does a fastest lap with 22 flat. And it looks as though Sam, otherwise known as CRG Gamer, is on his way to another victory here on Monday nights.
He does indeed. He's got a strong 3.5 second lead over Harry. I'm just keeping an eye on 5th place, and Sam Pito, who looked strong at the moment at one point for a good podium place, is now under big pressure from FPL Charlie. Sam not really making any impressions on Eltink, and Charlie about half a second, 6/10 of a second closing in on the Haas driver. So Charlie at the moment putting the pressure on the Haas driver for 5th place.
Yep, and of course these two are always a good showing and always provide some fireworks, so watch out, and we'll keep on track and we'll keep an eye on what goes on between the Haas and the McLaren. And Sam, you can see everyone with the lights in the back flashing as they all harvest electrical energy on the exit of the second Lesbo, and trying to find any position on track you can try and look after that battery, because it's very easy just to deplete it and run out very early in the race here. So Charlie closing in on Sam, but equally he's dragging Jumper Linen with him, who's not got Foxy Red too far for company. All these guys in the DRS of each other. Cliffy, another one of those drivers. So everyone closing up. Off of the back of the pack, we've got Beck 9000 and Fountain, unfortunately, who's having another poor race for his show or his standards. And what we could expect as TL44S comes into the box. Sorry, he doesn't come into the box as Gamer gets past him. Saw the position change and thought he'd made that pit stop. No, it is Gamer that actually takes back the lead of the race on track. So now TL44S will probably wave goodbye to the Renault, will be disappearing up the road, and Harry will start closing in on the Mercedes. The Mercedes, whose teammate Ice-T has had a pretty eventful race, currently running in 11th position, having made a pit stop 3 laps prior.
Oh, Eltink! Yeah, Eltink's lost it. Eltink has lost it, and it allowed Sam once again. Eltink had made another mistake, and Sam capitalising on mistakes from the racing point once again. And Sam has put a wedge between him and Charlie, because Charlie was putting the Haas under severe pressure, and Charlie now will be trying his best to try and get the jump on this racing point, because at this moment, I'd say this racing point is looking very fragile around this track.
As MNT picks up another time penalty for his troubles as well, and he's going to have the McLaren of Charlie all over the back of him coming into the Parabolica and the exit of the final corner, I would imagine. So although Eltink going deep, and that's going to compromise, you can see running over the grass. So yeah, you can see MNT kind of really ragged so far, but he's got a good run on Sam. He got a decent exit, so possibly a slower exit for Sam. So here comes the racing point back down towards the Haas. Will he peel to the inside and get the move done? And Charlie equally is in the tow. Is he going to think about it? No, he backs out at the last minute. But Eltink back up the inside as Charlie picks up 3 seconds as well. So more penalties being given out for plenty of these drivers. In fact, Charlie's got a good run on Sam around Curva Grande. Is he going to think about a move into the second chicane? Sam's already lost the position once again after gaining it last lap. But here comes Charlie Charlie thinking about the move down the inside of the Haas driver, but backs out at the last moment. These guys still sticking with it. We're on lap 15 of 27, so well over halfway, and it looks as though this battle is it's ready for the midfield now, because Harry is 3.5 seconds behind TL44S, who's 2 seconds behind Gamer. So Harry's starting to fall back, but he's got a comfortable gap between himself and these guys battling out. A third as Sam goes up the inside into Ascari. Another fantastic move from the Spaniard, but will he be caught out on the exit? Just about holds on to the car, but look at this training car. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars flash past your eyes as we go up the back straight towards the Parabolica, and into the Parabolica does come the Haas, the Racing Point, the McLaren, the Renault, the the Alfa Romeo, and the second Racing Point. And down the main straight, Charlie's got this one. He's got a good run on the 2 cars ahead. And Sab, who comes out on top here?
Oh, God, you don't want to take your eyes off this, do you? Elting retakes the position. And I have to say, what we were talking about earlier, as Charlie's lost it. Charlie has lost it all out. I don't know if he got tagged from John Palainen behind, because John Palainen also lost it. And that, unfortunately, has dropped Charlie back off of his pace and lost him 2 places there to Foxy Red and Cliffy. But I just wanted to say, regarding Sam, do you not think he was, even though it was a great move into Ascari on Elting, do you not think he could have just being a bit more patient and waited, and then waited for the toe and the DRS down the straight, and then got the move on the Elting, and then try to pull away then? Because even though it looked good for us, it didn't really gain him anything, and he's found himself having to try and retake the Racing Point again.
Yeah, it's all about patience around here, because of course, as we said, you get so much overtaking that you kind of want to sit in the toe until the last moment possible. But FPL Charlie, he will be absolutely livid, I would imagine, after that contact. It was John Palainen that tagged the rear end of the McLaren coming on into the Rettifidio and the exit of turn 2, and put him into a half spin. So he's now close back up to Cliffy and to Foxy. Samu is looking at once again trying to get back past Eltink, and these two trading positions lap for lap. Will he get into the toe? He does. DRS opens in the Haas. Will he have a run down into the first corner? It's all about essentially staying in the toe and saving a bit of battery at this point. Look after your tyres, look after your fuel, and save it towards the end of the race. You can see Charlie is on a warpath to get back up into a decent points paying position. Of course, his teammate unable to make the race this evening, and Hercules will be watching on, hoping that Charlie can pick in some decent points, because the likes of CRG Gamer, with John Palainen now down in 9th position, is equally thinking that Harry and Scott, well, they're both relatively equally matched at the moment, because I would say there's a 7-point difference in the Constructors' Championship between the Williams and the Renault team. So both drivers, as Harry clears TL44S, who's still yet to stop, so TL44S will be coming in for a set of softs, I would imagine, in the next lap or so. And yeah, it's looking as though the two that we were expecting to be at the top are at the top, whereas Scott and John Palainen perhaps not doing as well as what we were, maybe what we thought.
Yeah, I agree. And what's helping Harry out the most is he's got that 5-second penalty, but he's got a healthy lead over this battle for 4th place at the moment, as TL4 will obviously be coming in. So Eltic at the moment has got his hands very busy with Sam, and Sam now going to be trying once again to try and get the move done into turn 1. Elting trying to keep left and trying to disturb this toe off of Sam, but Sam does get the move done. Oh, just ran a little deep there, but just about held on to it, and that is allowing Foxy Red to try and have a go, and Elting is pretty much pushing the Haas now. Surely they're not going to go 3 wide round here, surely not. Oh my God. Yes, oh God, Foxy Red is trying one as well, and Elting is trying. Oh, who's going to be late on the brakes? Elting round the outside. Wow, what a move that was from Elting, and Foxy Red just keeping his nose in for fun. It's incredible racing.
I was watching that between my fingers as I thought 3 wide round Curva Grande just wasn't going to work. Look at the gaggle of cars we've got battling effectively over a podium position right now. This is 3rd position, you can see flashing past you. Elting trying to break the toe. She's say, disturb that flow of air as much as possible. This car scattering all over the track, trying to find the position to make a move. Scott picks up 3 seconds. MNT, I cannot say his name this evening. MNT Eltink has been spending the majority of this race in essentially, you can see there's contact between the two as they go towards the Parabolica. The racing points are side by side with different cars, and on the exit we're going to have a mess of cars going down towards turn 1. This is absolute chaos, and I love it.
Oh, it's just unbelievable, this is. I just don't know who to look at right now as TL44S does finally pit, but yeah, you're going to... Surely
this goes off goes the racing point. He's going to come off. He's taken out his teammate. There's contact between a lot of different drivers there. That was always going to end up in tears. It looks as though Cliffy got a tap from behind from someone. Didn't see who it was, but it put him onto the grass. Of course, as soon as you get onto the grass, you don't have any braking whatsoever. And luckily for him, he's got into the side of his teammate, but it hasn't compromised him too much. It's allowed Sam back up into third, but Eltink does carry on. But yeah, it was starting to boil over there. And you can see just at the last minute someone just caught out their braking point, and unfortunately for Cliffy, that's relegated him down to 10th position.
Yeah, it has, and everybody was trying to be late on the brakes, wasn't they? And unfortunately, like you say, they've just ended up tripping up over each other, which has spread the field out somewhat. But they're still all within a second probably of each other. As Scott, he's disappeared off the track for such a long while, all the way down in 10th place. He's now putting the pressure on FPL Charlie trying to put the pressure on the Alfa Romeo driver, Foxy Red. Foxy Red just falling away from Eltink slightly, so Foxy Red is going to get swallowed up here, you imagine, by FPL Charlie, Scott, and maybe even Ice-T here, as now FPL Charlie sends one down left-hand side. It's nice and easy for Charlie there. Can Scott try anything on the Alfa Romeo driver? Oh, they bang wheels, and the Foxy Red just about hangs on in there, and that's allowed Ice-T to get onto the gearbox of Scott as well. So Foxy Red, I think he recovered quite well there, because I imagine he was going to lose at least 2 places into turn 1.
As Eltink gets back up ahead of Sam, so those two trading positions, once again, you can see this gaggle of cars still battling over that 3rd place finish. We've got penalties galore tonight, so your guess is as good as mine. I believe Samu is relatively clean, so it looks as though Sam is currently the man who is essentially best bet for a podium position. Gamer's got a comfortable 8-second lead over Harry, who's got a mammoth 10-second lead as Sam goes back up the inside of Eltink as into Ascari. We just missed that one, but these guys trading positions once again. Sam getting that move done into Ascari, but all it does is open up Eltink to get the DRS down the main straight. So it's, as you said earlier, it's all about essentially waiting for this line here. That's what you want to do. You want to be behind it, because all now is Sam is now leading this train. He's punching the hole through the air for effectively 5 cars behind him.
Yeah, definitely. And Sam, should be able to keep hold of this, I imagine, because Eltink, you'd imagine he wanted to try and go on Sam, but he's got FPL Charlie for a couple of years. Eltink trying to run round the outside. That is very brave. They touch wheels, they bang wheels. Charlie now taking advantage of that. What a move that was from Charlie. Round the outside. Can Charlie get Sam as well? Sam under severe pressure here. Charlie down the inside now. Sam's going to have to go defensive, but Sam will have the inside. Oh no, as Eltink has touched both Sam and Charlie. Charlie runs incredibly deep there, and unfortunately I have to put the blame there on Eltink. Eltink just caught the rear end of both the Haas and the McLaren, and it's unhinged them somewhat, and unfortunately caused that issue, and Sam just about escapes there, but FPL Charlie, I'm not sure if he picked up wing damage.
No, it looks as though Charlie has lost an end plate on the front right hand side, and that was really unfortunate for him, because he was well within a shot of getting a decent result tonight. As you can see, the McLaren driver pulling to the inside of Scari. He's going to file out right into the middle of the corner, and that's going to really unsettle everyone else as they come through. You can see them scattering on the exit of Ascari, and they've opened up another 3-wide battle. We've got Charlie, Eltink and Jumpalainen, and these guys, I'm sure Charlie once again will be not too pleased with some of the other guys driving, because yeah, that was Eltink unfortunately trying to put his nose where it didn't belong, in between 2 cars that were already side by side. So Eltink unfortunately drops down to 7th position. However, perhaps trying to get involved in a battle that wasn't his. You can see he's actually got away scot-free, and he's going to go up, trying to go up the inside of jumper line and for 6th position, and he's going to switch back and try and get a decent swap back on him and go around the outside of Curva Grande. He's got a good exit, and can the Racing Point get back up into 6th? They're still side by side. Jumper line and closes the door as Cliffy does a fastest lap of 121.3 as Eltink goes deep once again, and it's on the ragged edge tonight, and he's starting to compromise quite a few drivers. Jumper line and unfortunately having to take to the escape road, and he picks up 3 seconds time penalties for his trouble as well. So Eltink pushing very, very hard tonight, and sometimes maybe a little bit too hard.
Yeah, unfortunately, so it just, like I said earlier, that Racing Point just seems a bit too fragile around here. He always looks like it's an accident waiting to happen. Unfortunately, Eltink, it's just gone from bad to worse for him, but this has done the likes of Sam, Foxred and Ice-T a huge favour here now, because this has given them a great opportunity to score some good points. FPL Charlie and Scott both pitted earlier. Scott served his 5-second penalty he picked up earlier, so Scott down in 12th place now on a set of softs, won't have that 5-second penalty over him in the rest of the race, but remember he does have other penalties as well to serve. So yeah, this has benefited Foxy Red and Ice-T well, and at the moment Foxy Red is keeping the pressure on the Haas driver at the moment. Sam not being able to pull away from the Alfa Romeo, so at the moment the Alfa Romeo keeping him honest, as we've got a yellow flag in sector 2.
And we've got the 8-car mega battle that we saw unfolding in front of our eyes just a few laps ago. Unfortunately, it's now down to 3 after a couple of incidents between the likes of FPL Charlie, Cliffy, Jumper Linen and Eltink. Yeah, unfortunately that was stolen from us, because it was building up to be an absolutely perler of a crescendo to this race, and we're on lap 23 of 27. It's been a beautiful sunny day here in northern Italy, and you can see Ice-T there getting a really good run on the exit of Mascara, and he's going to get a decent toe up the back straight. Will he stay in the toe of, and in fact he might have just got ahead at the DRS line, so we'll see who does get that DRS coming down towards the back, or the main straight. And we're going to go in front of the Tifosi across the probably the most iconic podium as Cliffy picks up 3 seconds, most iconic podium in F1 and possibly in World Motorsport. But yeah, Ice-T now up into 4th position. This would be a best ever result for him, as Scott picks up another penalty. He's going to be into the stewards later and getting his wrist slapped by some of the race stewards. And yeah, Ice-T now sizing up Samu Pepito, so the Mercedes driver looking pretty. He's going to look to the inside of Tadella Roger. Is Sam going to see him? He does, and ducks out over the last minute, and that's going to compromise his exit, and it's allowed Foxy up the inside to Sam, who's dropped from a podium position to 5th in a corner and a half.
Yeah, that is surprising. I just wanted to just quickly look through the incident report at the moment. Foxy Red currently has a 6-second penalty over his head, so Sam doesn't have any penalties at the moment, so he just needs to keep playing his sensibly. I know he loves this overtake into a sky, but I think he just needs to play his sensible now. Ice-T picks up 3 seconds out as well, so if Sam plays his sensible now, doesn't pick up any penalties, and keeps within this battle, Sam still has an opportunity for that podium place, as Ice-T will have to try and get a move on now if he's to try and make anything. I still have to get a move on now to get anything like this podium place a chance. But at the moment, Sam's still looking favourite for that 3rd place.
Yep, he is, but it's all about playing that waiting game. It's lap 25 of 27. Into the box comes Eltink on those maneuvers and retiring from the session. Charlie picks up another penalty there. Oh, and deep into the Retifidio goes Sam. You can see him locking up both front brakes there, but yeah, Eltink retiring from the session, unfortunately. Perhaps just running out of tyres, running out of luck this evening, and he now falls down the order and will not be picking up any points this evening. His teammate now is promoted up into 9th position due to his retirement. That's the second the second retirement this evening. Unfortunately, Adrian Lockdock retiring earlier in the race. If you joined us late, guys, CRG Gamer took pole position pretty comfortably with the 2 racing points in second and third. Harry in 4th position. Harry's managed to clear them, and unfortunately the racing points getting into separate instances later in the race, with Eltank involved with numerous, and unfortunately that's dropped him down the order. But however, it has promoted our top 2 in the championship back up into the top 2. So Harry once again will be sitting behind Gamer. So after making up those 3 points, after winning last week's race, will unfortunately lose those 3 points now with Gamer back ahead of him.
Yeah, it's just been a difficult race for Harry, as it is. Not really been able to make any impression on Gamer. 11 seconds behind, and doesn't look like he's going to claw that back. Definitely not now, unless Gamer has a dramatic end to this race. But Foxy Red is still trying to pressure that Mercedes of Ice-T, but can't really close it up on that car at the moment. And Sam now, after a dodgy few laps, he's now recovered somewhat, and he's about 0.4 of a second behind the Alfa Romeo. But I just wanted to point out, unfortunately he's just lost the place, but Beck 9000 is not having a bad race himself right now. He's on 22 lap old hard tyres and currently in the top 10.
Yep. He is indeed. He picked up his first points in Brazil, and he's looking like he may, hopefully, be picking up a second set of points. Seemingly as Scott gets past Charlie for what is currently the final points paying position, but we know Scott's sitting on quite a handful of penalties under his belt. There is Sam Pepito's closing in on Foxy Red. We're on the penultimate lap here. And of course, the left rear here is, as Charlie picks up another 3 seconds, the left rear here is the one that dies the quickest. So the exit of Ascari is one of the ones that everyone will be watching out for. So we've seen things happen on the final lap, so hopefully Gamer Harry and the guys vying over 3rd position keep it clean, because we're on the final lap now. The Renault leads us around. We'll go on board with him in a matter of, or a few moments time, and we'll see if he can clean or finish up and clean up the race pretty tidily. But behind, Samuel Pupito closing in on Foxy Red 2000, wasn't close enough to get the move done. Jumper line, and now is closed up to the back of them as well. So the battle is still going on for these guys, and it feels like most of them won't have had a moment to breathe in this race. But yeah, whilst we just finish up watching this midfield battle, Sab, Gamer, he has been in a class of his own this evening, hasn't he? He's just led from the front and just driven away.
Yeah, definitely. He set the standard in qualifying, and as soon as he could build that gap and get away from this battle for 2nd and 3rd place, he was just all about building that gap. And in the end, he's just been too good, too hot to handle tonight. And Harry will come away from here 2nd place. It's still a great position to finish, but unfortunately for Harry, and CRG Gamer does cross the finish line. Congratulations to CRG Gamer there, another fantastic victory. Harry now does come across the finish line as well. Yeah, unfortunately for Harry, those 3 points he made up last week have just been null and voided, and he's back to pretty much square one again for Harry. And it's going into next week now. He's really going to have to start getting these wins ahead of Gamer, because unfortunately for him, Gamer will soon be getting one grasp on that Drivers' Championship.
And Samuel Pito can take a sigh of relief. He does take home 3rd position. You can see the penalties coming in on the final lap as CRG Gamer does take home that coveted win in Italy. It's a fantastic win for him. Harry does what he needs to hold on to the back of the Renault driver, but only 2nd position for him. Samuel Pito comes home in 3rd. Jumper line, and great result for him. 4th position and last season's champion. Maybe not the same pace we saw from last season, but that's a great result for the Renault team, with Scott way down the order. But yeah, what a race. A breathless few laps in the middle there that saw chaos galore, with 8 cars all vying over the final place on the podium. But it is CRG Gamer that takes the victory. The number 62 Renault celebrates on that iconic podium. Plenty of screaming fans, I'm sure, will be delighted with another win, his 5th of the season, and he is starting to look like like a man who is setting himself up to be lifting that trophy at the end of the season. And there are your race results for the evening in 37 minutes 51 seconds. In beautiful sunshine, CRG Gamer takes the race victory from flag to flag ahead of Harry BR25. Samuel Papisso picks up his second podium in third position. Japalainen in fourth. Ice T drops to fifth position. Foxy Red is in sixth. TL44S is in seventh position. Cliffy gets back to eighth place. Beck picks up another points podium position, so congratulations for the Toro Rosso. Second point score for them in ninth. Scott is in 10th. Schofield at 11th. Charlie picks up 15 seconds of time penalties in 12th. Fountain was a lap down. Unfortunately, we lost Eltink and Antri locked up earlier in the race session, and we'll be inviting the guys in for a very brief chat very shortly. And Sab, I'm sure, has got plenty of questions for these guys, and I imagine quite a few for Sam, who was involved in a whole heap of action this evening. But yeah, it was the man CRG Gamer who will be, I'm sure, the most delighted, but equally had a very easy race up front, and yeah, Harry keeps tabs with him, but and maintains this ridiculous streak that these two have got. Harry is only finished off of the top two twice this season, and once was a third place finish, and the second was, of course, that race in Barcelona where neither Gamer or Harry scored. Apart from that, they've either shared first or second in the race, with 2 wins going to Harry, and of course now 5 wins going towards Gamer in the Renault. So yeah, Sab, assessment of that race.
Well, it was a dominant win for Gamer, but in the middle of that pack was just frenetic chaos. You just didn't know where to look, and unfortunately, it ended up with a few guys tripping up over each other, didn't they? As we eventually seen Sam come out on top in that mini battle for the lead of that pack. But the guys are in the chat with us now, so we'll get right underway, and we'll start with tonight's race winner, and that is CRG Gamer 62. Congratulations on the win tonight. It was a superb qualifying as well for yourself. Last week you didn't win the race, so this week you had to come into it knowing if you're going to stop Harry trying to sniff a way back into this championship, a win was the only way, and you proved it quite comfortably in the end out front with that 12-second lead over Harry. How was the race for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to get back on the top. Got a nice two off my teammate in qualifying, which definitely helped to get a pole position. And then KJ sort of helped me at the start. I know he was battling away with Harry, so that kind of gave me the DRS gap. And then, the DRS is crazy around here, so it's nice to have the gap. And then it may seem like a bit of a cruise at the front, but really it's quite easy to lapse concentration and get a penalty or something. And the ERS around here, like the ERS saving and stuff, is crazy. You can run out so quick. It's like I spent half the race running around in medium and I just couldn't save any back. But yeah, I mean, controlling it, I suppose, at the front, and got what I needed to do. So yeah, it was good.
Well, yeah, congratulations. It was a superb night for yourself. I just want to move now on to Harry in second place. Harry, good evening. I can imagine second place is always great to have, but I imagine it's a little frustrating to have second place knowing you're trying to fight with Gamer in this championship. But I think, like Gamer just mentioned there, with that battle with MNT Eltink early on really cost you a chance of trying to catch up with Gamer, didn't it? Because as soon as Gamer got that breakaway, it was pretty much difficult to catch you up. Apart from that, it seemed like a lonely race for yourself. So how was it for you?
Evening, Sab. Yeah, well, I kind of pulled and sort of started in qualifying well. I just couldn't get a lap hooked up at all. So I knew I had to be aggressive. Got quite a good start. And then I saw Eltink got ahead of Gamer, so I thought that was sort of perfect. Then he made a mistake at Ascari, and then sort of has to make a decision, like, do you stick with him and hope he sticks with Gamer until DRS, or do I try to get past him? And both of us, I think, just sort of made a couple of mistakes really on the heavy fuel, and that allowed him to get the DRS zone. And then, yeah, I mean, on the medium tires, I had no pace at all, but I was looking at the gap behind, there's all battling like crazy, so
yeah,
just thought, Or well, my times were ridiculously slow, but Gamer was unbelievably quick on the mediums. To be fair, so just thought to bring home second place, which was quite a good point. So yeah, it's disappointing not to be there for the win, but I don't think I had the pace, so I'm very happy with second.
Oh, that's good to hear. Then we'll move on to Sam. Sam, this is your third podium of the season, and I have to say, you were involved in probably the greatest battle of the night tonight, with at least 5, 6, 7 cars. How was all that frenetic racing in the middle of the pack there at one point? Because it just didn't look like you were ever going to get away from that lot.
It was crazy. It was crazy. I was shaking because I got put into the wall, then I got tapped, then Elnick was passing me, and then I was passing him, then he was unknown. Yeah, very frustrating because I couldn't get away of the pack, because I don't know, I don't know what were some drivers doing. But let's see, I will take a look at Big Bag, and it was a great race. I saw, I knew that everyone around me had penalties, so I decided to not fight and just keep it simple, bring the car home, and yeah, it was tricky. It was very tricky. But anyways, I got the podium, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, and like you say, you played it sensible, didn't pick up any penalties, and you got a very deserved podium in the end, so congratulations to yourself on that. And just moving back to CRG Gamer 62 for one final question. We go on to Canada next week. Similar track in terms of being able to get a toe and the fast pace of it around the Circuit de Villeneuve. How are you around this circuit, and can you try and grasp onto that Drivers' Championship a bit more and really put the pressure on Harry?
Yeah, I look forward to it. I mean, it's a nice, fast-flowing sort of street circuit, but it's a very quick one. So a lot of fast corners, a lot of fast chicanes, a bit like Italy. So it should be good, hopefully. Yeah, as always, going for the win, and hopefully we get John Plant up there as well. Forgot to mention actually, he had a good result tonight, so it's good for Renault.
Yeah, he certainly did have a good night tonight, a better night for himself. And yeah, Gareth, we now move on to the Canadian Grand Prix. Like we were just saying, it's a similar track to what we've had tonight. So you can imagine some more close towing and overtaking with DRS assisted.
Yep, absolutely. And of course, the infamous Wall of Champions for those that are maybe off their game. So yeah, always to be one to be watched. And yeah, Italy tonight, what a race. I mean, it always gives us the most exciting race of the season. We saw an incredible battle over the final podium position for 6, 7, 8 laps, and then obviously, unfortunately, it all unravelled with a couple of mistakes from a few drivers. But yeah, it was great fun to watch, and a fantastic race for Gamer. Once again, the man is looking on fire as he go towards the final 4 races of the season: Canada, Singapore, Silverstone, and of course Monaco. And yeah, it's going to be a fantastic week's racing. If F1 is essentially the benchmark, then of course realistic performance tomorrow night, F2 and F3 on Wednesday, they have got a lot to live up to, because yeah, I don't know about you, but I had a lot of fun with that one.
Oh, I most certainly did. Like you say, you were looking through your fingers at some of the overtakes at some point. Sam with some superb overtakes at Ascari especially. So if you're just joining in late now, definitely watch this race back, because it won't disappoint you at all. And it's set us up nicely for the rest of the week's racing, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, cannot wait for that. So of course, join us tomorrow night, 8 p.m. here on the YouTube channel with Malc and Tim for the Realistic Performance League race here from Monza, the Temple of Speed. And of course, on Wednesday night, 8 p.m, choose your stream. We've got F2 and F3 running concurrently, and they will be going from 8 p.m. as well. And you've got Dan and James covering F2, and of course Harry and Charlie covering F3. And yeah, it's all you can all find out about it by going to the socials: Invictus RL on Twitter, Invictus Racing League on Facebook and on Instagram. Of course, go to the website invictusracingleague.com, where you can sign up to get yourself on the grid for F1 2020. We're already taking applications for the new game to get started as soon as possible, and maybe you can get yourself involved in one of the battles that we saw tonight, which was absolutely scintillating from start to finish. And of course, we saw a brilliant race from Gamer, flag to flag victory for him, and equally behind Harry keeps up the pressure. So one slight mistake can make all the difference in the next 4 races. So yeah, join us for that. And as I say, guys, if you enjoyed the stream, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you're not already to the channel. Always helps us out. And yeah, love to hear from you. Hopefully you all enjoyed it and seem to be chatting in the comments and seem to be enjoying it. So hopefully Sab and I entertained you once again here on Monday night. You can find us once again next Monday from the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada, for round 9 of the season. But for this week and from the IRL F1 League, have a great week, stay safe, be happy, and we will see you in 7 days' time. Good night.